welcome back to our channel. If you think a secret can be buried forever, you are wrong. There are truths that cannot be escaped, consequences that cannot be reversed. And when everything seems to have gone to sleep, tragedy arises, more fierce than ever. Today's story will shock and haunt you with the life and death choice a woman faces when a new life is formed from a relationship that no one expected. Hold on to your emotions, because you are about to embark on a journey filled with tears, panic, and chillingly cruel decisions. Tomas never thought his life could turn around in a split second, until he opened the letter from the clinic. The sharp lines cut through the layers of trust he had built up over the years. A DNA test confirmed that Eva was pregnant with his child. There was no room for error. The evidence was so clear that he could neither deny nor doubt it. A jolt of electricity coursed through Tomas' body, and his heart began to beat erratically, not because of the joy of becoming a father, but because of the fear that gripped his mind in the darkest and most cruel way. Memories of his complicated and contentious relationship with Eva quickly appeared in his mind, like a blurred film between light and darkness. Eva was not the person Tomas intended to be with for a long time, and they had even seen each other as passers-by in a momentary emotional intoxication. However, fate had ironically arranged for a small creature to become a dangerous bridge between them, and put Tomas in a situation where there was no turning back. When Eva heard the news, she did not cry, did not scream, nor did she seek Tomas for help or plead, but her heart was torn between countless conflicting, painful, and dark thoughts. She stared at the small ultrasound image in her hand, then looked at the lifeless white wall as if searching for answers from somewhere that did not exist. Panic flooded her like a tsunami, sweeping away everything, leaving only loneliness and a terrible choice waiting for her to make. Eva was not afraid of the pregnancy, she was afraid of society's gaze. Afraid that the past would rise up and crush the fragile future she had hoped to build for herself. She was afraid that others would judge her as the one who set a trap for Tomas, as the one who used the child to tie down a man who did not love her. But most painfully, she was afraid of herself, afraid that if she continued to be pregnant, she would never escape the shadow of a life she had not chosen. She began to think about things she had never dared to think about. Was abortion the only way out? Was it fair to the unborn child to be deprived of the right to live just because of the mother's fear and confusion? Every time she put her hand on her belly, she could hear the small heartbeat pounding like a cry for help, like a drop of water slowly falling into the overflowing cup of her conscience. Meanwhile, Tomas was in a state of extreme confusion. He did not know if he had the courage to face the responsibility of being a father, or would he try to escape like he had done with many mistakes in the past. He thought about his career at its peak, about his already complicated relationship with his family, and about the look on the face of the woman he truly loved if she knew the truth. Part of him wanted to go to Eva, hug her, and tell her that they would get through this together. But the other part whispered that it was better for Eva to leave, to disappear before things got out of hand. Eva, in desperation, began to pack her things. She no longer wanted to wait or hope. The dresses were folded, the souvenir photos were torn up, and every trace of her current life was erased from the small apartment where she had dreamed of a different future. She didn't say goodbye to anyone, nor did she leave a suicide note. She simply disappeared, taking the little creature in her belly with her like the darkest and most sacred secret. She arrived in a strange town, rented a simple room in an old boarding house nestled in a quiet valley, where no one knew who she was, and no one asked questions about her past. She lived in seclusion, pregnant in solitude and with the faint hope that one day things would get easier. Tomas, when he realized that Eva had disappeared, felt an indescribable emptiness. He frantically called, texted, searched through friends, through social networks, but to no avail. She seemed to have evaporated from the world, leaving him alone with the DNA report and hundreds of unanswered questions. He began to lose sleep, haunted by the image of a child with his blood growing up in a strange place, fatherless, unsafe, unprotected. He felt cowardly, selfish, and irresponsible. He began to think about finding Eva at all costs. He hired a detective, traced her medical records, and even contacted organizations that supported pregnant women. The deeper he went, the more he felt his fear transform into responsibility, and then into a strange emotion that he could not name. Was it love? No, Tomas had never loved Eva that way. But with the unborn child, he began to feel an invisible string connecting his heart to somewhere far away and vague. Meanwhile, Eva was going through a pregnancy full of difficulties. The local hospital was lacking. The doctors were unfamiliar, and every ultrasound was a time when she held her breath in fear. But strangely enough, it was the child in her belly that became the motivation for her to continue living. It is a testament to her courageous yet contradictory choices. She did not have an abortion. Nor did she choose death, she chose life, not only for the child but also for herself. She learned to live simply, working part-time at a small bakery. And every morning she would sit by the window looking out at the distant mountains, silently hoping that one day the child would grow up and never feel abandoned. And then, in a fateful moment, Tomas received a call from a nurse who had helped Eva with her pregnancy checkups, accidentally revealing that she had moved to a small town, leaving a vague address. Tomas did not hesitate. He set off that night, carrying in his heart a lingering torment that had never subsided. The journey to find Eva was not only to find the mother of his child, but also a journey for Tomas to find himself, to find the part of himself that he had lost in fear and selfishness. As he stepped out of the old car in the middle of that quiet town, he didn't know what was waiting for him, only that if he didn't move forward, he would regret it for the rest of his life. And somewhere, Eva was also feeling something change. She put her hand on her belly, feeling the first tiny kick, as if the baby was signaling that a miracle was coming. Will Tomas have the courage to face Eva after all that has happened? Will Eva be able to forgive the man who made her run away from her own life? And under what circumstances will the innocent child be born? A reunion, a dream of rebirth, or an unending nightmare? Stay tuned for the next breathtaking episodes in this stormy journey, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any stories that will keep you glued to your eyes.